Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Saturday, February 10, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Listen to all, plucking a feather from every passing goose, but follow no one absolutely. Chinese proverb. When we look inside ourselves, do we notice the constant dialogue that's happening? There's a voice speaking or thinking in our heads all the time that has all kinds of wants, needs, beliefs, opinions, and desires. Then there's another part who is always listening to this voice, consciously or unconsciously. Listener is thoroughly receiving whatever information the voice says, thinks, and believes. The mind is a very interesting phenomenon that we can understand more deeply with just a little investigation. Let's try this self-talk inner dialogue experiment. Try this out right now. Say your name inside your head. Don't speak your name out loud with your mouth, but just use your inner voice and speak it from inside. Did you do it? Did you hear your name? If so, how are you hearing your name if nothing was spoken verbally out loud? You didn't use your physical ears to hear. So exactly what was it that heard your name? There's always a listener and a voice speaking inside you. These two aspects of your inner world are in constant conversation. Venting this creative inner dialogue becomes what you know to be yourself and your life. However, this dialogue never ends. Any time of the night or day, it doesn't matter. Your inner dialogue is always conversing about something, creating every dimension of your inner world, which forms what you manifest into your outer world. Be mindful of your self-talk. It's a conversation with this universe. David James Lees. It might be easy for you to believe that this voice in your head is the real you. You are your inner voice, right? Well, upon deeper investigation, you find that there are many different voices with many thoughts and opinions, and they don't always align and agree with each other. If all of these conflicting voices are the real me, then it's going to feel quite challenging to do anything in this life. The inner discussions within our minds can get very complicated, busy, and intense. On some super stressful days, our inner mind may sound like you're in the middle of a crowd of many highly opinionated vocal people. This is where most people become frustrated and feel lost in their lives. They have simply forgotten about paying attention to the silent one who's listening to it all. They simply need to remember that their silent inner witness is always available to retreat into on the inside. All of our ideas about who we are more like signposts pointing us in the direction towards who we are. I don't believe that all these thoughts inside our heads are who we really are. It feels as if they are more like a grand symphony of musical impressions cascading through us. Whoever is the listener behind these voices is the real you, the eternal watcher and listener who is free from all thoughts, beliefs, desires, and opinions, is who you really are. You're the eternal witness who is sitting quietly in the audience, allowing each song to play through. This is the most liberating, empowering vantage point to experience in this life. Notice the subtle, soft, conscious presence inside you. When we sit back from our mind chatter and really listen to everything going on, what do you notice? What's the general theme song of your inner dialogue today? What's your story about today? And how is it different in any way from yesterday? Notice your mind's complaints, fears, desires, and excuses. Notice how your mind is always trying to help you navigate through life better. And it also serves as pure entertainment for you. The more often you get sucked into this perpetual entertainment, the less mastery you have over it. Mastering our inner dialogue is not about finding that super confident, strong voice that overpowers all the weaker ones. When we master our inner world, we have become one with the silent witness who is at peace with it all. There is nothing that can disturb us because we have stopped avoiding negative thoughts and getting attached to positive thoughts that pass through the mind. We realize no matter what happens in this life, we remain untouched by both positive and negative sides. To master our inner dialogue, realize every thought is temporary. See each wave of thoughts like a set of musical chords playing out a beautiful song. Mind mastery occurs when you've surrendered your ego fully to the silent space, which is the eternally quiet background on which all the notes are played. The eternally silent witness is enjoying the play, dancing to the music, unscathed by it all. Here's a few awakening questions for you to ponder today. These questions are simply to point the mind inward so that you are even more aware of the dialogue happening within you. What do you notice the most about your mind and how it speaks to you? Do you feel your inner voice is usually judging you or guiding you? Is your mind generally kind to you, or is it typically critical? What's the story your mind's telling you about your life? What does your mind believe about who you are, who your friends and family are, and what your future is going to be like? You are the storyteller of your own life, and you can create your own legend or not, Isabella Linden. It is important to note that this circus of thoughts and voices inside our heads is not coincidental. Every seemingly meaningless dialogue happening inside us contains some valuable lesson. The universe never makes mistakes. We know that. There can be no coincidences in any intelligent, conscious field of infinite energy. We can always learn something about ourselves from deep within our minds in every single living, breathing moment. The grand universal orchestra is following through you and your thoughts. God cannot abandon anyone. We are all always connected, yet perhaps too occupied with the stories in our minds to feel this divine connection in our deepest stillness. We can tap into our highest truth that lives beyond all of these voices. And when we really listen to the silence within, we can slow down enough to have a real enlightening conversation with our higher self. We can ask ourselves any question that can be answered by a higher intelligence. I feel this higher truth is closer to the root of who and what we truly are. It takes a very deep level of inner silence to tune into this profound clarity. Yet, eventually, you can see the journey of your soul and all its lifetimes of karma and scripts that are still playing through you. When we can listen to our thoughts as if they were musical notes made perfectly by our divine instrument, we can relax into its unique song that's just playing along with the universal orchestra. When we step back from the music and into the most penetrating silence we've ever experienced, we access a much bigger perspective, then can see, feel, and hear the whole harmonic symphony. We see our karma is playing itself out through our thoughts. The karmic pattern is defining who we are, what we want, and what we believe is true and not true. Our karma gives our lives direction, all while our higher self is helping us to become free from it. They work together. You wouldn't know freedom until you have experienced imprisonment. Would you? A good way to begin mastering the mind is to start from a place of joyful curiosity. Be like an excited little child entering a gigantic ice cream shop for the very first time. You are open to so many different types of flavors, colors, and sizes to choose from. You know that every scoop is unique and worth tasting. In the sacred ice cream shop, there's no such thing as picking the wrong flavor. Mind mastery has this innocent, childlike attitude. Yet, it also comes with the wisdom of discretion. It knows which ice creams are old, spoiled, and no longer worth trying a second time. Sure, life is going to sometimes gift us a distasteful experience, yet it's simply so that we can appreciate the flavors. We do appreciate. We master our inner world when we know that every life experience comes with lessons and meaning. Life throws these thoughts, feelings, and experiences at us. And we have the choice to fully allow ourselves to welcome each flavor or reject it and push it away. In the end, we will want to have tasted it all anyway. So there's no such thing as picking the right or wrong flavor, is there? And when we're choosing whatever experience we're having now, we open ourselves to being the authority of that experience. Experience life in all possible ways. Good, bad, bitter, sweet, dark, light, summer, winter, experience, all the dualities. Do not be afraid of experience, because the more experience you have, the more mature you become also. Now, once we can let go of any resistance to being the authority, we can relax and realize we were always the one in charge of the inner dialogue. This power contains a freedom that allows us to feel connected to that voice behind it all. The one who is making all those small choices every day, and also those gigantic decisions that shape our lives and create who we become. Our inner authority is the voice that's like the writer of the script, inventing the types of life we want to manifest. What happens when we make time to sit still? I mean, get really quiet inside, relax and listen. What happens? What do we notice happens when we quiet our inner dialogue and fall into a complete silence and stillness without falling asleep? Sit up and stay alert. Be completely conscious, quiet, and listening to the silence. Choose to pay attention to the listener. Pay attention to who is listening. Then notice that there are no more loud inner voices that you're hearing. You are listening to life directly without manipulation. Your mind is at ease, relaxed, calm, and you're fully experiencing this living, breathing moment of life. A calm mind is the ultimate weapon against your challenges. So relax. Brian McGill. The greatest voice in our heads is the one that instantly brings inner peace. This is the calm, quiet, super-sensitive voice that allows us to relax more deeply than we can imagine, and offers us more powerful presence in our lives. The most important voice is the one that always brings more peace. When we pay attention to our thoughts, notice if these thoughts in any way lift up your vibration. increase your level of happiness, expand your love life, improve your health, or make you feel free inside. If these voices, thoughts, don't do any of these helpful things for you, then why do you keep giving them your precious attention? Can you hear who and where it is coming from? Does it sound like the voice of your mom, dad, sibling, friend, teacher, etc.? Step back a few meters and listen from a distance, just to know whose voice and thoughts they originated from. See if you can connect with the person from your past who is behind some of these voices. Notice how this voice was inherited. It is not even your real voice. Feel the truth in this and release them back to their original owner. Pay attention to those voices that say, "You're amazing, powerful, and lovable." Focus on how good you feel when you think 100 positive thoughts in a row about yourself. Did you have anything else you'd like to communicate to yourself today? Silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. So my invitation for you this coming week is this. This is the final step to bringing the voices in your head to complete silence and happy stillness. If and when you want to master your thoughts, practice getting super quiet and listening more. When others talk, just practice listening. Do not interject or add anything until they are completely empty of all talking. Now that's kind of a tough one, I know, because have you ever met people that you don't talk. You sit there and listen to them talk. Even though you would like to put in a couple of things here and there, you just finally just say, "I'm just going to sit back and listen," because they're not. It looks like they're not ending anytime soon. Don't interject or add anything until they are completely empty of all talking. Give them as much time and your full attention as you can. Yet, pay even closer attention to the listener inside you. Do not try to make such an outward effort to follow every single word and thought they are saying. Make it an exercise of diving deeper into your listening skill. Explore how life changes when you only receive information and do not make any additional commentary. Remember, all of these ideas about who you are and who you're not are temporary and can be considered to be illusions. They are mere reflections of the great mirror of your mind. They were created to help you wake up and eventually turn your attention deeper inside to find this ultimate divine truth within. This infinite universe on the outer world is there to remind us that there exists an infinite universe within us. We fully master our mind in all of our lifetimes when we're the master of our awareness. Only by continuously turning the focus back to the source of awareness can we consciously co-create the inner dialogue that we most wish to hear. When we are the master of our inner world, the center still points of the mind. We can then focus our inner dialogue only on what we want and not let the mind wander into disempowering thoughts of what we don't want. We can change the direction of our thoughts, not by trying to create a blustery wind, but simply by adjusting our sail. Our lives can shift direction, and we quickly rediscover how easy and fun it is to focus our energy on the divinely powerful beings we truly are. This power inside us is unstoppable, unshakable, and truly the guiding light for manifesting any future we desire. Start thinking about the life you want. Imagine it happening to you now. Listen to how your heart feels when you imagine the life you want. What does your heart have to say about this? When you listen closer, notice what you discover. If you remain in pure curiosity, you'll see there is something absolutely beautiful inside your heart. It's like a warm sun radiating light onto everyone it comes in contact with. It's purely silent and radically quiet at the core. Our heart is the master of all the apparent masters in the mind. It holds the secrets to our deepest wisdom and unlimited potentiality. Abide in this heart space. Be free from the chattering mind. You can set your entire inner dialogue aside for this freedom. In your deepest silence and stillness, you will find out the highest truth of who and what you truly are. When we feel ready to take our life into higher energy and vibration and consciousness, we focus on what we want. It doesn't mean that the negatives don't come in, because they do. You just say, I'm not interested in participating in those. And they'll just pass right through you. But most of us will sit there and stop and grab onto the negatives and really, really concentrate on them, and, well, the results we all know. More of it comes in. So when we look at the life we want, that's what we focus on. And the negative thoughts that come in, you look at them. You say, why? Let's take a look at this one. What's going on with it? It's like, here's the ego mind scenario. There's a bunch of folks, and they're all standing there waiting to dive into this lake, right? And you're standing there and you go, I wonder how cold that water is, right? I wonder what's in the lake. Creepy crawlers, something in there? Snapping turtle, I wonder what's in there. You're building, this ego mind's building a scenario for you not to go into the water. Okay? And even though you see people diving into the lake, splashing about, the ego mind's working with you saying, that's okay for them, but you don't know what's going to happen. You could dive in, hit your head or something. You see how that works? And that's pretty much the scenario throughout our lives. Now, when you look at these, this ego mind attempt to convince you not to dive into that lake. You move into the heart, into the stillness, through the breath. And it fades away. And every time it comes back, you do the same thing. And it fades away. Ask yourself, can you enjoy anything when you're worried? Fearful. Don't ever let anyone ruin your happiness. Ever. That should be a creed for you. Don't ever let anyone else ruin your happiness. Even the ego mind, within, and anybody around you. Do not let them take you away from your happiness. Someone says something about you. You kind of go, okay, big deal. No big deal. A little tinge, maybe. Emotionality. Why would they say something like that? You get to the point where it doesn't matter. Really doesn't. Doesn't affect you anywhere near the way it used to. And then you get even further going within through the heart-mind, and it doesn't faze you at all. Now, then there's the people, right, that think you're arrogant, snooty, nose in the air. They think they're better than us. You see how that works? That's their ego mind, not yours. That's theirs. So you're just kind of floating along. You're creating the life that you desire, that you want. You understand that your guidance is the God within that body, which is you. So you look at pure consciousness, your consciousness. In the bicameral eras on this planet, they named things. So you call pure consciousness God. Because throughout the existence, for all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever, all of us, all species, throughout existence, whatever that may be, whatever universe, is one. All of us are. The difference between someone who has freed themselves of the ego mind and mastered it compared to one who hasn't, the one who has no limitations, has no worry, has no fear. Now the other one that does has worries, has fears, has stresses, which pull them away from the God that they are. It may get a little confusing for people, but I don't believe that it is a difficult thing to comprehend through the heart-mind. We all have this ability, potentiality, and this will happen with the civilization. eventually, you'll be able, like there are other parts of us out there that already can, you'll be able to go anywhere, any place, any time in a blink of the eye. You won't have machines. You won't have spaceships. You won't have any of that. How is that possible? Your ego mind's going to say, how is that possible? It's because I'm one with everything. I'm not separate from any civilization, species, planetary system, star system, universe, galaxy. I'm not separate from any of that. I am it, and it is me. So I can travel as far and as wide and anywhere I choose to go in a blink of the eye. Now, it's a progression, of course, for all of us. We master the mind chatter. We don't have it anymore. We master our thoughts, which means we know what thoughts, we know every thought we send out. Okay? We also know every thought that comes in, we know whether or not that's our thought because it isn't. So those thoughts come in, we just let them pass on by. I don't care to participate in that thought. That isn't my thought. You participate in the thoughts that you send out to the universe. You'll receive thoughts of what? What do you think? Worry, stress, and fear. Uneasiness, guilt. You ever felt guilty for no reason whatsoever? Have you? You feel this guilty feeling. You're going, what the heck do I feel guilty for? That is not your thought. That comes from the ego mind. See, once you master that, and you're focused in the now, and you practice being in the now every single moment you can, through the breath, being still, listening, these are all steps for you to rediscover that you are a highly powerful, supreme being that never dies, that's in that body. Experiencing. You have that exposure. And you begin to learn how to navigate it. And then the ego mind, slowly but surely, becomes your servant. And you're the master and commander of it. You direct it. Eventually it realizes that it doesn't have a purpose or need. So it begins to fade into the background. And then you discover that the mind chatter's gone. Permanent. It's not there anymore. You don't have all that going on. That noise. And then you realize that your worry, stress, and fear are gone. You're totally free from it. And you aren't thinking about, I wonder if it's going to come back, what's going to happen. That's ego mind, and the ego mind is no longer there. You won't have that. These things are all put into place to help us rediscover who and what we are. That's it. They are not our enemies. They may seem like it at times, but they're not. You invite everything in from them, from the ego mind. Invite it all in. Take a look at it. It's like going through a book and going through every page, looking at the pictures, reviewing it. And it becomes second nature. You're not judging. You're evaluating. You're watching. And then you begin to, you'll have these thoughts that come out of nowhere. See, before you automatically believed that, oh, those are my thoughts, okay, and you acted however. But now you're able to identify the thoughts that come in and you say, that's an ego mind thought, I'm not interested in engaging in it. That's an ego mind thought. I'm going to get revenge. I'm going to get revenge. You wait and see, I'm going to get revenge. That's ego mind. So what is non-ego mind? You don't have that motivation. You don't have that emotional response. You have no motivation at all to get any kind of revenge whatsoever, to carry any kind of hatred whatsoever, or manipulation or deceit whatsoever. You're not even, it isn't even front and center. It's kind of off to the, off to the left. We must cultivate a deeper relationship with our mind. Why? Because it's about getting beyond the mind. How would we do that unless we cultivate a deeper relationship with it? It's about getting beyond the mind. And when we master our mind, we no longer live in fear, period. It's gone. It isn't coming back. When the mind falls from its altar, we rise to the summit. And as we learn how to drop into a perpetual state of surrender and allowing the greater intelligence of this universe to run the entire show, we see how every precious moment in this life has this bigger universal force behind it all. In seeing this, the perfection that exists within everything. I join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. What identities are you clinging to? Grasping onto the identities created by your mind will only bring you suffering. Labeling yourself as someone who is somebody more important or special only creates limitations on your experience of reality. Truth is that you are a divine infinite being who cannot be defined. You are none of these labels. You are limitless, pure potentiality, which is beyond anything that you can imagine. So drop all your identities. Be as free as the wind. Choose to rejoice in this boundless, juicy, spiritual presence available inside you right now. Take this with you for the rest of the day, to the evening and night, following morning. We will return here Sunday, February 11, 2024, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, and purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening in you or outside of you.